you did finish elementary school, and tell us how you managed to get to go to high school, Jen.
Yes. My teacher said, becoming Ph.D. is the major success. So I dreamed to become a Ph.D. and I asked him, what do I need to do to become a Ph.D.? And he said, well, study well. So from then on, I was just pouring whatever the time I can find. I will just reduce my time to sleep and whatever time I can find, and I focused on studying. And amazing discovery. Before, reading a book, a school textbook, and reading 10 times, and I don't remember, I don't understand most of it, and I was, as I mentioned earlier, I was the number one from the bottom of my class. But amazingly, because my attitude changed, because I have a dream, I have an objective, somehow once I read some book pages, I can remember whole page. It's like taking pictures. So when I take the exam and I was able to remember what book and what page and, what line the answer lies. So my class, school record was just skyrocketing. And by the time I was graduating from elementary school, I was number 2 of a whole school class and number 1 among all the girls.
It's amazing what a dream will do.
I know. And then that changed my mom's attitude. And because my teachers came, to home and praised about me and, raised their price, and my mom decided to change her mind that, decided to send me to middle school. And so when Jack, Jack Canfield taught us, he said, when you know what, how will show up. So I needed to become the PhD, and I need to go to continue education, and I discovered the secret of studying, and I was able to go to junior high school, and they even sent me to Seoul, the capital city of Korea, to study in the high school, and I was continued to be almost at the top of the class.
So what was that like? Where did you live, and how did you manage high school?
High school, it was my persuading anyway, but my uncle, was also living his Korean dream. He was the colonel in the Korean army and living in Seoul. So I was able to, borrow a small space for me to stay and live with them and go to high school. And I still was happy and had a dream. But when I graduated from high school, I hit the wall again.
And why did you hit the wall? What happened?
Well, in school, for studying, you can manage yourself, and whatever you put effort, and then results will rise up, right? But outside, to go to college, it was too expensive anyway, and my parents couldn't afford, and I was still somewhat a timid, timid girl, although I was doing well in school, and I couldn't find a job, and I couldn't, support myself to send me to college. So I ended up working as a factory girl, making very minimum wage, and I wasn't able to feed myself because I wasn't doing well at all in making wigs. And also, most of all, I didn't like that situation at all, and there seems no hope. And I was just at the end of my dream world, I guess. And so I was in despair and depressed, and so with that attitude, you cannot produce anything good. So
no.
my wig wasn't doing well, and so I wasn't able to feed myself. I had to go, without food for a couple of days at a time, and my friends were helping me to feed me, buy me some simple meals too. So that was my life after high school.
And how did you get out of that? It's like, my thinking is that you really had to escape. How did you how did you get out of that situation and manage to come to the United States?
Well, America was known to most of Koreans at the time because Korea was, the probably poorest country in the world at the time. And during the Korean War, Americans came and, they helped Korea to survive. And so America was considered like a paradise. And particularly for me, I thought all Americans were rich and all Americans were gods and goddess, and America is the land of, paradise, and we were told America is the land of opportunity. So a lot of people dreamed of going to America, and but it was like getting a star from the sky. It's not.
Right.
It was so difficult. But I ran into a newspaper ad looking for a housemaid to work for American family in America. So I applied for that. And then the biggest fear was in those times, probably about 60 or 70%, many girls were assembled, recruited like that, and sold. They were sold on the street as a prostitution.
I heard that, yeah.
Yeah, so that was almost common sense. So I had to take a risk of that. But I thought living like that in Korea without any outlet, I decided to take a chance. And, I will give it a try. And if I get sold out on the street, then I will commit suicide then, because we all going to die anyway, sooner or later. So I was going to give a try first before I die. And that's how I applied.
So you got enough money to come to the United States somehow.
That was really hard to get the money because I didn't know how, and the only way was persuading my parents, and my parents were totally against because they can see the picture of me being sold out on the street, So, but I cried, and I was ready to stop eating and kill myself or something like that. And so finally my parents were persuaded, and my mom borrowed money from the neighbors to pay for my airfare and the processing fees. And also my father borrowed $100 and gave it to me, and that was my beginning money in America, $100.
$100. So you arrived here thinking you had a job.
Mm-hmm.
So you found out then you did not have a job. What on earth did you do? That's really... you don't say much about that in your book.
Right.
I can understand why. How long did it take you to get a job?
It took only about a couple of months because what the jobs I was looking for was not something office or a high class job. I was looking for any labor work. And
how did you survive How did you survive here on $100 for 3 months?
Okay. I was, when I landed there, it took me actually 2 years to get the visa. So the family who needed a housemaid couldn't wait that long. So that's why they had the housemaid from the South America, And the sponsor, she said that if I want to, they couldn't wait for that long, but they are my sponsor. And they said if I want to stay in their family, at work there, they will find a job for the other woman. But if I want to find something else, do something else, I'm free to do so. And the agency, and I called them, and he said, there are there are plenty of jobs like that, housemaid or working at the restaurant or, all kind of jobs are available for that money. So why don't you just, find a new job? This is an amazing opportunity. So America is the land of opportunity. And because, I trusted him, he didn't sell me on the street, so I followed his word, and he said that there were a couple of Korean women who came to America, but they graduated from college and they were working in the office. And so he said that they were living in Bronx, and he said that I can bunk with them until I find a job, and then I can start paying the rent. So that's how I began my life in Bronx, in America. And there were a lot of people from Thailand. They were doing busboy and waiter and all kind of jobs, and they are the one who helped me to find a job as a hostess in a Jewish restaurant in downtown Wall Street. That was my beginning.
That's such a lovely story, and you know what I hear is that if you can do that as a 22-year-old with no money, no command of the language, then what about everybody else? They can do the same thing if they have the right attitude and the right motivation.